Right, hello everyone, Red Pill Phil. Lost for words for a minute there, and just soaking up what's about to happen. Right, this has been an interview that's been a long time coming. Been a while to try and arrange it. For obvious reasons, it's not an easy subject to talk about, but it's a subject that definitely needs to be heard, if not to inform people, moreover to actually get action, and to break down this stigma that's building up, that if you was to talk about any of these subjects that you regarded as a certain way of thinking, which is totally wrong. So for me and this channel, it's important that we talk about it. So I'm here being offered an invitation by two very courageous people, mother and daughter. Dee, being the mother, had very good conversations with you over the past couple of days in regards to getting this set up, and the daughter, which happens to be Samantha. Samantha has been a victim of grooming for, what would you say, 10-year period? Close to?
Coming up to, yeah.
Coming up to, yeah. What year would you say, what age would you say when it?
It's before
11? Okay. Now, you'll have to understand that this is a very difficult subject to talk about, guys. So you can understand Samantha's apprehension, and there's a lot of mitigating circumstances as to why now we're in a situation where Samantha has quite severe anxiety as well as other issues, mainly because of this.
depression, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right. Have you been officially diagnosed with all those? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And let me assume that from the age of 11 stroke 13, there was no signs of any of that. You were just a normal.
She's only just recently been diagnosed.
Right.
But it's only in the last couple of years that she's been showing signs of any of the stress or
Right.
the PTSD or anything like that.
Right. Right. So that compounds onto everything else.
Yeah.
So how did it start then, Samantha? The grooming, in your mind, when did it first start to collate as, oh, this is not right?
Well, I got moved out of mainstream school, and I got moved to school in Burnley, and I met this girl, and then she introduced me to him.
Right. How did she do that? In what way was she?
Like, she was already involved in it, so we met up after school, and then we just like walked the roads, and then we got picked up by two Asian guys, and then took to a house, and then bought a drink.
So you didn't know these Asian guys, and so you were going there off the strength of what your friend was saying.
Yeah.
And what was your friend saying? They're just my mates, or
Yeah.
it was that kind of talk, and so it made you feel relaxed and comfortable.
Yeah.
Going in their company, sitting in the car. So when you get in the car, how would they interact with you? These men.
Nothing, just say hello, what's your name? How old are you? Do you want a drink? And then take us off licence, and then buy a drink, and then take us to the house, and then we drink, and then, yeah.
And I take it they wasn't drinking.
No.
Right. And so when you were there with them, Did you get the feeling that it was a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship, or did you feel there was a...
With some of them, yeah.
Right, okay. Go for it then,
Well,
go for it.
we know from what experts are trying to tell us, and that is, it's called the Stockholm Syndrome. So when someone's been held hostage, like it was something that happened, a big hostage situation in Stockholm, that one of the ladies who was held hostage fell in love with the captor. So now they call it the Stockholm Syndrome, where you actually think, and I've heard many girls say, he's my friend, but they're my friends. I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
We've heard it hundreds of times that every time she was missing from home and she came home, police would bring her home, and as I was explaining to Phil, that it was never any arrests made, it was always pieces of paper that we to sign as parents saying that we didn't give permission for our daughter to be in the company of whatever his name is at the time. They'd then go and give him that piece of paper as a warning. If it happened again, he would be arrested.
Never followed through.
Never followed through, never ever followed through. Nobody was ever brought to justice, nobody was ever arrested for having her in their car or in their home, or... And at the time, as she said, she was 11 and 12 years old when this started.
So over this 10-year period, no one was ever charged?
One person,
They served section, is it section 2s?
section, which is
Why
what
they
we
have
have
to
to
stay
sign.
away. But apart from that, no.
Nothing.
So,
No, go on, if you've got
yeah,
a question,
well,
go for it.
Nobody's ever
I
been
know.
taken to court, nobody's ever been charged with anything. Apart from one person where there was an incident that Samantha had actually been grounded because she kept running away from home because she was out partying with these men.
right.
We'd said she weren't allowed out. The social worker came round to our house with a member from Operation Freedom Team in Burnley
Yeah.
and a chief constable police officer.
Do we have the name? Do you remember his name?
I don't remember. He asked us then to let our daughter out
Yeah, I'm getting a copy of my file.
so that they could follow
You can
her.
always check it back for records anyway, it's easy to do that.
They wanted to follow her. Now, we was against that because to me that's using my daughter as bait.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's bait. They bait the child. They
Yeah.
sent her out there knowing that
She's vulnerable and what's
going
going to happen.
Yeah.
Going to end up with a groomer.
He's driving up the road, notices he's being followed by a police car, opens his door while the car's still moving and threw out of a moving vehicle.
And what injuries did you receive?
Non-male
Just
cuts and razors.
cuts
Cuts
and
and
razors.
razors.
Now, didn't he try to...
He tried to run over the police officer,
And my social worker.
which is why he got charged, and that is what he got charged with,
Nothing
dangerous
else.
driving. Nothing else, nothing to do with a minor, nothing.
So, I'm going to ask you a difficult question, Samantha, if you don't mind. Or Mum, whichever is easier for you to answer. When the first time you was medically, when you went to the doctor, is that what happened? You went to the doctors, and when they did any examinations or anything like that for any of this period?
That was after, that only happened when she'd been missing for 6 days.
Right.
Myself and my stepdaughter Kirsty had Granada Reports crew in the living room recording a live plea for my daughter's safe return. That was going on air at 6 o'clock. At 10, just before 10 to 6, my mobile phone rang and it was a police officer saying that they'd found Samantha in a flat in the centre of Manchester.
Fallowfield.
Sorry?
Fallowfield.
Fallowfield.
They'd been alerted by an elderly lady saying that she'd seen somebody up at an upstairs window, banging on the
I
window,
remember this.
shouting help. The police actually, when they turned up, there were men still in the property in a different room. There was no arrest made. There's 5 grown men in a different room to where she's been held captive for 6 days.
Any particular reason
Fed.
why you think he wasn't arrested? I'm sorry, someone jumped
Personally, because I think the race card comes out.
So,
And that's mine.
you confirming that every man in the property...
Every man in that property was an Asian male.
Okay.
No, they weren't Asian, they were Bengali.
Well,
Bengali, as
Bengali.
we know, Bengalis, a lot of the males are from heritage. if you look at 80% of the grooming that come from the city of Karachi, the village Karachi, is it Karachi? Kashmir, forgive me. It's
Kashmir as well. You've got
Kashmir, yeah.
Right.
So a lot of the groomers have got Kashmir heritage from the villages of Kashmir, and it's slightly a bit and bit in it, you know, so there's a lot of Bengalis.
Half Bengali, half
Personally, I don't think it's a race thing. I think this problem's widespread
Of
over
course,
every race, doesn't matter what colour your skin is. But with Samantha, they were predominantly, I'd say Muslim.
That's not, we're not pointing out for race sake, we're pointing out in this case in general.
In this case, it was
so
predominantly.
The police never arrested the guys.
None
in
of the
that
5
room.
men in that house at the time was arrested.
And because of that reason, you think?
I think it was because the police are too frightened to have the race card thrown at them.
Yeah.
Even after
I
the
was locked in
medical.
the bathroom. I remember the police busting the door open.
She'd been fed alcohol. She'd been fed cocaine. She has no recollection of what happened in the 6 days that she was in there. She just remembers being there. Samantha was then medically examined. This is when we found out that it hadn't been just one male, because you can't count on your fingers and toes how many different specimens they'd found of semen.
Can I ask you?
I think the report says 27. I can't be 100% certain, but for her, all this time, she's off her face, she's coked up to the eyeballs, she's touch wood, and I'm really, really proud of her. She's fought an addiction for cocaine because of all this. She's been addicted with them giving it her in a drink and so on and so on. Bless her cotton socks. The one thing she wants out of life is a family. Sam probably can't have a family because after the incident in the flat where there was 5 Asian male never arrested, Samantha was found to be pregnant, and she was found to be 12 and a half weeks pregnant by the time they found out, which meant she couldn't have a normal termination. She had to go through a surgical procedure, which they then found out there was other issues, and she'd contracted things through sleeping with these Asian, well, not sleeping with these Asian men, these men taking advantage of her, basically. Which I believe is where then her behaviour started to spiral.
Before we go on to that next section, how old was you again at the flat?
At the flat, she was 14.
14.
No, 13. She's 13. Yeah, it's
13.
her 14th birthday. So at 13, she's had to go through this. We fought every way possible to get her home. We felt like we was failing as parents, so we asked an outside company to get involved. We approached the social services and said, listen, my daughter's running away from home a lot. She's drinking, she's taking drugs, she's climbing out of windows because there's Asian men coming to pick her up outside my house at 2 o'clock in the morning. I need help with her. They gave us a week and then came back and said, well, you're failing to safeguard your daughter. We're going to ask you to sign a voluntary placement order. It is voluntary, but if you don't do it, we're going to take you to court and take her anyway. We signed this placement order, which then placed Samantha in Bala, because they assured us they could safeguard my daughter. Within 2 weeks of her being at Bala, these men that had been picking her up in Burnley drove all the way to Bala, and for clarification, then don't know where Bala is, it's the far end of Wales. And they were driving all the way from Burnley to Bala to pick her up, and then they would drive all the way back the following day to drop her back off again. So they wasn't safeguarding my daughter. She had, in a year, we had 17 in total, 17 reports to the police by ourselves for her being missing from home. Within 6 months of her being in local authority care, they had over 50 reports of her being missing from home, from care homes, because she was running away and but it was me that was failing to safeguard her.
Well, the reason why they took custody of your child
It's to keep
is to
safe.
safeguard her.
Yeah.
And obviously it states there, the stats are there, they were in, she was more vulnerable
She was
in their care.
a lot more vulnerable in their
Because they
care.
actually knew, you told
They
me
knew
on the
everything.
phone about the bibbing of the horn and
Yeah,
when
we
they knew
had,
that there was
we had,
car
two,
waiting
we had
outside.
2 cars parking outside our house with 4 men in each car, one of them shouting Samantha's name. My husband's disabled, he went to the front door and stood at the door with a baseball bat, and there was 8 Asian men in 2 cars trying to get her out of the house. We've had threats that they're going to post naked pictures of her through family
Taking pictures
letterboxes,
of my sister and
taking
kids.
pictures of her sister and the children and saying, you know,
Kind of intimidation.
a lot of intimidation, yeah. We actually moved house from Burnley after having windows put through, fireworks fired at the back of my car. We were sat in the car and they were firing rockets underneath my car, all because of what was going on, basically.
So you've had to relocate because we...
Twice.
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 So this
we've had to
first
relocate.
started, you just said in...
It first began in Accrington, didn't
Accrington.
it? But it didn't get to the point where we knew anything was going on
All
until we
started
moved to
when
Burnley.
Found in that old guy's house, can you remember? When I got tired and nearly went through his door.
That was at the bottom of Avenue Parade in Accrington.
That convicted murderer.
She'd been in somebody's flat who we found out, we rang a friend of ours. Mark was brought up in Accrington and knows a lot of people, so we rang a friend of ours to say that we'd been told Samantha was in a guy's flat at the bottom of Avenue Parade, and apparently this guy was very dangerous. So I didn't want Mark approaching it on his own, and he has a friend we call Tiny. He's 6'5", built like a brick shit house. He's huge. He met us at the house, and the minute we pointed out where she was meant to be, he flipped. He flipped big time. The guy that she was keeping company with had just got out of jail. He'd done so many years for taking somebody's life, but it had been dropped to manslaughter, and he'd also been put on a sex offenders register, and she was in his flat. So that's when it was first brought to our attention.
How old was that? How old was
She was 11 then.
So, and he wasn't arrested, he was arrested for anything?
No, luckily he went. He actually
He was
got
on
recalled
parole,
back to jail because he was out on licence.
So he
Right,
got
okay.
recalled
So-
over that?
Because we rang the
Right.
police, and the police came out, and as soon as
Can
they
I
ran his
just-
name, they said, well, he shouldn't be with a child on his own,
Sure.
and he was put back to
Of
jail.
course, that's not happening today though. We're
No,
seeing that a
it's
lot
not.
with the Abdul Rauf case. It was outside Kingsway School. I reported to the police, said as long as he's in his car, he's okay. But this was the taxi driver of the grooming gang in Rochdale.
Didn't he have
Can
a
I just-
daughter at the school, so his daughter was working at the school or something?
Yeah, I got him on camera. It's on YouTube. Just ask you a question, Sam. Can you remember back, as torrid as it is, can you remember how many different towns you went to when?
How many different times I went where?
When he was going out with these.
When the grooming was going on and was picking you up, was they taking you just to Burnley or Acton, was they taking you everywhere?
Everywhere.
Whereabouts, can you tell me?
Rochdale, Burnley, Fallowfield, Rusholme, Lonside, Blackburn.
Leeds.
Was this always on
London.
your own, or was you with them?
Sometimes I were a friend.
Right, okay. And was the same thing happening, sorry mate, was the same thing happening to your friend, or was your friend...
There was 4 of us.
Right.
It was me, Danielle, Beth and Tegan. Tegan's passed away.
How old was he when he passed away?
Tegan passed away last year. She was a couple of years younger than Sam.
20.
When now did she pass away, if you don't mind me asking?
She had a really bad infection. I think what of them gallbladders.
She went in for gallstones,
She
Right.
went
As
to the
young as she
doctor.
was.
She went to the doctors.
and she
Complaining of
contracted an
stomachache.
infection while she was in hospital.
Am I right, yeah?
She passed away in hospital. Bless her. Little boy. She had a little boy as well.
She
Well,
went.
well,
So sad.
She went to the doctors complaining of stomachache. The doctor just sent her home. About a week later, she passed out in Asda. So she was rushed in. They found out that she had a really bad infection. And then she were in hospital fighting it for 12 months. But
She was on life support for a while.
Yeah.
Bless her.
It was still coping.
How were your friends coping at the time? How were you all coping, knowing that you were all in this situation? How did you all find each other's company? Was you trying to find solace within each other's company to get through it, or was, I don't know, what was the emotions going on
Kind
at the
of,
time?
yeah.
Right.
I think most of the time, with Samantha anyway, I don't know about the other girls, but certainly with Samantha, the time that we spent around her while all this was going on, I don't think she knew what day was what, to be
Right.
honest.
Because of the drugs
So-
and whatnot.
Yeah, because they'd bring, when she came home, half the time, she'd get a telling off because she'd done a runner, and then she'd have to wait for the police to come to speak to her to see where she'd been. And
Right.
So,
but she was still highly drugged in her system, so.
Sure.
Which would have made it doubly hard for you, I would have
Yeah,
said.
because
Dave.
I felt like she was shutting me out as well
Yeah.
then.
And you quite didn't have all the pieces there, and all you want is more information.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, your daughter's under the influence, and plus
And
at
nobody
that
else
age
is
as
giving
well.
you
process, you
information
see, it's
either.
alienation, it's part of the grooming process. So what they do, they'll get in, they'll tell you your friend, they'll buy you things that you want.
Yeah.
Then they'll alienate you from the closest, nearest and dearest, and then when they've got you, that's exactly what happens, Sam, is it?
Yeah, well, I was bullied at school, so quite vulnerable. They know how to, I think they know how to find.
They pick on your
Spots
weaknesses,
someone
don't they?
that's
She had
very
very,
People
very
who
low
struggle
self-esteem,
socially.
Sam. Very,
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
people
low.
who struggle integrating into society
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
struggle to
You
speak
No,
know
to
quite
you're
on
meet
it.
vulnerable.
people,
Yeah.
and they can pick up on that. So
Yeah, they can sense
these
it.
guys are
Yeah.
clever.
Smother them with affection, compliments, you know,
So
say
when
all
you
the
Well,
right
was with
things.
amazing they
them
are, and-
after the grooming process took place and the actual sexual, I'm sorry to say, it was taking place, how did they treat you and what type of things did they say to you? If you don't mind me asking. Was they nice, was they sweet, was they, you know, generous, or was they nasty, or calling you names, things?
No, they were nice.
They were nice.
Yeah. I think because they just wanted to
More.
to keep a hold.
It actually led to something a lot bigger, all this, because through learnt behaviour, Sam does have a preference when it comes to relationships, and she got into a relationship with somebody that, thankfully, has now been sent to jail for a long, long time.
Irshad Ahmed.
Irshad Wani.
Irshad Wani.
He's actually on the register now. I've searched it myself.
Is he still in jail?
Yes, me and Sam went to the court case,
How
even
long?
though it was nothing to do with her.
Right.
She'd ended up in a relationship with him and he'd been arrested, and he told Samantha that it was something to do with some money fraud. And I'd gone up to see Sam and was confronted by two female officers that informed me that they couldn't tell me why they were there. They couldn't tell me whether my daughter was in any danger, but as a mother, they wouldn't be comfortable leaving their daughter there. So I was trying to say, I'm telling her she's to come home, and she's saying I'm nearly 20-year-old, I can go where I want. And then the truth came to light. We was at home and somebody tagged me in a post on the news, on Facebook,
Not how you
that it was posted on the news, and a friend of ours tagged me in the post, and it'd actually been charged with umpteen sexual offences against young girls, and it took place in the flat where she'd been living. They found a number of mobile phones hanging around the house. There was a book released not so long ago. Was it a book or a programme on the TV? No, it was a book, wasn't it? And the book that there was described, the flat that was described in the book,
Really?
told her that it was the flat that she'd been living in, which kind of then made her feel worse again, because she'd lived where it had all been taking place years before. He got sent down for, did he get,
Don't know, I'm looking it up now.
I think he got 14 years, or he may have even got more. But the judge did say that because he was here illegally as well, After he'd served his sentence, he would have to serve his sentence first, and after he'd served his sentence, him with a few others would be deported.
No, because it's even all on the news
but it's
now
not-
that they're all
that's
getting
exactly-
legal aid to
It's not
to
going to
fight
happen anymore.
deportation.
It's not going to happen. But at the time,
It's ridiculous. Do you need to...
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. She's fighting with this again now because when we put her into local authority care, we were visiting her every week. We went on days out. We had some good times, but then we went for the very last time was on the 17th of July, the day before her 16th birthday. And we was due to pick her up on her birthday, and the staff at the care home pulled us into the office, and I said, it's a long way to keep coming and going this, you know, I've got to come back again tomorrow. And she said, well, as long as you sign a piece of paper to say that, you know, you're taking Samantha home a day early, then that's fine with us, which is what we did. Only to then be told that because we'd taken Samantha out of local authority care one day early, she was entitled to no counselling. She received no aftercare leaving team to help her. She had, money doesn't come into it for us, but you know, she didn't get no leaving care grants. She didn't get.
Well, it's their job to tell you this
Yeah.
is what will happen anyway. If you take her out.
She got nothing,
Yeah.
but even one day early, she still should have gotten some aftercare. She spent 4 years in
So-
care.
Do you reckon it was a way to kind of push you off the system then?
Save the quid.
And present it to you that they're doing you a favour, but by doing
Yeah,
that,
and then making it out that
you're
we've
out
done
the system.
something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
the main point is she's only just started getting counselling now.
And that's through her own doing. That's not
Yeah.
because
And that's
somebody's
good.
offered her that help.
Didn't you say to her support worker that you needed help and she told you that's not why I'm here?
That first support worker said that she couldn't talk about what had happened with the grooming. She was here to talk about why he was at the hospital all the time. Her that came out to my house. With her anxiety, Samantha ends up at the hospital quite a lot. Because of what's happened to her and because of the grooming and the exploitation, Samantha suffers with severe anxiety. She gets herself in that much of a... She's now been told she's got some heart condition that's been brought on by her anxiety. Because she gets herself in that much of a state,
Anxiety.
she's close to having.
I've got a review at the cardiologist to see why it is.
She gets close to a heart attack every time she has an anxiety attack. She's been taking for 2 years, and at her age, she'll have been 20 when she started taking them. She now takes blockers. She's prescribed blockers for her heart.
How old are you now, Sam?
22.
22-year-old and you're having to take blockers.
She fights,
You know what I mean?
even though she doesn't drink
Been
like
through
she
the
used
mill,
to, she fights an alcohol addiction because it's easier for her. That's her Shadwana. Yeah, see, you found the story. Does it say how long you got?
Sure.
This guy was actually... he was
9
very
years for
conniving.
7 counts of sexual activity with a child and 1 count of child grooming.
9 years. 9 years.
Yeah,
9
we'll just
years.
stop it for
But-
5 minutes.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
We're going to wrap it up
Yeah.
anyway. So there'll be another segment to come, guys. You can understand this story's not easy to talk about. You do remarkably well.
Awesome, inspiring.
Absolutely
So
fantastic.
proud.
So we'll start another segment shortly. We're just going to have a little break. So stay tuned, guys.